It's the KC Arts Beat Report. I'm Patrick Neas, and greeting Arts Beatniks. We have a great show for you today with the guy who gave me that catchphrase, for which I'll be eternally grateful, Charles Bruffy, the conductor of the Grammy-winning Kansas City Chorale. Boy, they have a really interesting concert coming up on May the 16th at Village Presbyterian Church. Before we talk to Charles about that, I would like to ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video as well. And also, please follow us on Facebook, where every day we post interesting information about the arts, about famous figures in the arts. We always celebrate their birthdays and acknowledge important dates in the history of the arts, and also share information about arts happenings in Kansas City. For example, the Lost Birds, 7:30 p.m., Village Presbyterian, May 16th, with the Grammy-winning Kansas City Chorale. And with me right now is the conductor of that chorale, Charles Bruffy. Hello, Charles.
Hello, fellow beatniks. What Patrick was just talking about, on Facebook, every time I see one of Patrick's posts, I always press like. Sometimes I even press love.
I appreciate that very much. And I hope everyone follows your example. Charles, I am really
at least that example.
Yes, yeah, right. Okay. This concert really fascinates me because I love birds, and I know you love birds. And, there's a tragedy involving birds. We have lost some wonderful birds through the years, and mostly through the cruelty of humans. And I know you're a bird lover. I want to talk to you about your love of birds before we start talking about this concert, because you're very intimately involved with birds, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I have a little farm out here in Raymore, and so in the spring it is so lovely to see all the titmouses?
I think maybe titmice.
Mice, and the big-breasted robins waiting to lay their eggs. Yes. We do have a lot of sparrows and several crows, but the hawks are flying by a lot, and overhead the geese are so inspiring. Those formations that they make in the sky and trading leadership roles. But my most intimate relationship with birds would be my chickens. It's kind of a gruesome story, but we started off with 12 chickens, and then we had a big snowstorm, and the roof to the coop blew off, and we didn't know it. Then we had only 2 chickens from 12, and we still didn't know that the roof had blown off. But a varmint got in there and extinguished my chickens.
Oh, no.
So then we got down to 1 chicken, and then, thank heavens, it was chick days at Tractor Supply, and so now we have 11 baby chicks, all different kinds.
Oh, excellent. Boy.
And they're in a tub in the bathtub with a heat lamp.
When did this tragedy happen?
Oh, maybe 2 months ago.
Well, I express my condolences. I'm very sorry.
Well, thank you. It was shocking.
Wow. But, once those chicks are up and at 'em, you won't have to worry about the egg prices the rest of us have to worry about.
No, you won't have to worry about it either.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Patrick.
Thank you.
And we have several different colored egg layers.
Oh. And they taste much better than the farmed eggs.
Yes, they do.
Now, one thing.
Okay.
Pardon?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, one thing I've noticed over the years is in the springtime, you didn't need an alarm clock. You could wake up in the morning hearing this cacophony of birds chirping madly, and that seems to have really diminished over the past 10, 20 years. Am I imagining that, or have you noticed that too?
No, I've noticed that too. And for that very alarm clock reason, that's why I do not have a rooster. They get up too early.
Uh-huh. Well,
This is
it's concerning to me too. And I live next to a park, and even living next to a park, I mean, I love hearing the owls at night, but I do not hear that loud morning chorus like I used to. And it just seems to me, and you hear reports all the time too about declining birdsong populations and declining bird populations in general. And it's just part of a whole history of us really taking our feathered friends for granted and letting them go extinct. Of course, there are famous examples like the dodo and the passenger pigeon, but they go on and on. And I am so glad you're doing this concert called Lost Birds as a tribute to these wonderful creatures that we do take for granted. Tell us about this concert and when it inspired you to do it.
Well, as we agree, it is of great concern the direction our planet is going ecologically because of the influence of the human race. There just is so much pollution, plastic islands in the ocean, fracking, just so much damage that the human race has inflicted, and it has had an incredible human impact, well, on humans, but also on nature, plant life, and especially the fragile birds. And we know of at least 125 different species of birds that are now extinct. And there was that song that kind of made a joke about it, that poisoning pigeons in the park. Do you know that song?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. But anyway, because I think that the incredible feathers and incredible colors of those feathers is just so important to conserve. Now, I don't mean to sound like I'm admonishing people, which I kind of am, but this concert is filled with incredibly beautiful music.
Well, birds have certainly inspired music through the years. I'm thinking Messiaen is one of the great examples, but you're going to be doing some really interesting pieces here. Why don't you kind of give us a guided tour through the program?
Okay, well, we are going to start with a piece called Murmuration, and that was written, the words and the music were written by Jean Belmont Ford, and it's a giant piece, and it is descriptive of murmuration, which is that flock of birds that makes designs and coils in the sky. And it's really great. It talks about finding one's own power and one's own ability to soar. I really love that piece. And again, it's by Jean Belmont Ford, who lives here in Kansas City. Then we're going to a world premiere. It's called Migration. And it's written by a 20-something young composer whose mother I went to college with. His name is Hans Bridger Harith. And he's a wonderful young composer, and I had written him to see if he had anything about birds, and he said, no, I don't, but I'll write something. And this is so beautiful, and we are so in love with the piece. Let me just tell you some words. The brightest thing about me is my wings, red-tipped, flashing when I fly. When I breathe, my lungs are like wings, spreading, expanding, extending with each inhale. Hold me the way you hold a child. Hold me gently. I am only here for a little while.
Wow. Did he write the words as well as the music?
He did not. Anna Rawls Ulrich is a poet from Columbia, Missouri, and he and Anna are friends, and so he asked her to write the words, and they are beautiful. I didn't read all of them, just the ones I thought were the juiciest.
Beautiful words indeed. Can hardly wait to hear the music that goes along with them.
Well, and the really fun part is it's for string quartet, and Hans is going to come play the piano for us. Both in the concert and on the recording.
Wonderful. And this is being recorded for Bright Shiny Things. You've just released a wonderful album called Into the Mirage, which is absolutely stunning. So I can hardly wait for The Lost Birds.
Yeah, I am really proud of that Mirage recording. And we were able to share several wonderful soloists, and I love the shape of the recording, the musical shape, not the orb of the shape.
Well, and you're doing a couple of colorful pieces about birds, the white birds and blue bird.
Right. People are probably in this concert most familiar with the Stanford bluebird. And one time the chorale got to go up to Iowa to sing at a state music convention, and Sir David Wilcox was there.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And he wrote me a card after our performance, and he said, that is the best bluebird I have ever heard.
Oh, my goodness.
And he put that in writing.
Oh, wow.
So I had it framed, and then I gave it to our soloist.
Well, David Wilcox is the cream.
I know.
You know, he's the Cambridge King's College Choir of Cambridge, I believe, right?
Yes, I believe so.
He made all these fantastic Christmas albums. I mean, he's just the best. That's fantastic, Charles.
Yeah, that was a very proud thing for us.
And Stanford was one of these 19th century English composers, right? Who
Yes.
wrote that wonderful, rich Victorian music.
And this piece just inspires a bucolic vision of the shimmering lake and the meadows around it, and that the lake lay blue.
Wow. Well, that sounds really wonderful. And the white birds or birds.
The White Birds is written by Ron Kane, who is a teacher and composer from California. And so I contacted him and said, do you have any songs about birds? And then he sent me The White Birds. And I really like this. It's kind of a Celtic folk songy thing. It's more about the love relationship than the actual about the white birds, and about how the white birds on the foam of the sea, which is such a beautiful image. And at our last rehearsal, I learned something new. No, this was a rehearsal with the Kansas City Symphony Chorus. I didn't know that mermaids, when they die, become sea foam.
I didn't know that either.
I was astounded.
I'm glad they don't.
I thought the mermaids just went off and married the unicorns. That's what I thought.
I thought when they died, they just washed up on the shore.
Right.
Well,
harpooned.
Yes. I'm glad they turned into foam. That's much more poetic.
Isn't it?
Yes. And then, Charles,
your walls kind of look like sea foam.
Yes. Now, the piece that gives the title to the program, The Lost Birds, sounds like a major work.
It is. Let me just look here. It is 111 pages long.
Wow.
It's made of 12 different movements, all about birds that have become extinct.
Who is this by?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
It's by Christopher Tin, and he is a Los Angeles composer. And one of our singers, Brian Taylor, said, we should do these pieces. And so we made contact with them and made arrangements to do these pieces. And so now we're going to record it. It has already been recorded with Voces 8. And so it's a very small vocal ensemble, but with the the London Symphony. So it's a giant orchestra and small chorus. We are recording it with a larger chorus. We are 26 singers, and then just a string quintet, piano, harp, and suspended cymbal.
How would you describe this music?
It's very listenable. It draws you in. It's very expansive. It isn't descriptive of the bird. It just kind of elevates the loss of the bird. The Saddest Noise is one of my favorite ones. Between the March and April line, that magical frontier beyond which summer hesitates, almost too heavenly near. The saddest noise, the sweetest noise, the maddest noise that grows and grows. The birds, they make it in the spring, at night's delicious close. The saddest noise I know.
Wow.
It goes on.
Wonderful. And did he write the lyrics as well?
No, they are all written by the likes of Emily Dickinson, Christina Rossetti,
Ooh, wow.
Edna St. Vincent Millay, Sarah Teasdale. Yeah, that's them. They're all by those women.
Well, I know that Emily Dickinson line, "Hope is the thing with feathers."
Yes, that's the final song in this cycle.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have to have hope in the face of all these ecological calamities that face us every single day, which you enunciated earlier. without hope, what do we do, right?
Right. And believe me, I think it's a challenge having hope, but we must.
Well, thank you not only for the care of the birds that you do personally, but also helping to inspire everyone else to appreciate these wonderful creatures that we take for granted all the time with this concert called The Lost Birds. And it's going to be at Village Presbyterian Church, which is a wonderful venue for your choir, isn't it?
Yes, we love singing there.
And that's going to be May 16th, 7:30 p.m. And for tickets, go to kcchorale.org. Charles, I wish you great luck with the concert and also with your new flock of chickens. I hope they
yes, well,
rapidly.
I'm looking forward to the day when it's warm enough consistently that they can live in the garage at least, not in the bathroom.
Oh, I see. I see. So they're in your bathroom, I see.
Yeah, they're in the bathtub.
Oh my. Okay. Do they shower with you?
No. The shower's upstairs. The bathtub's downstairs.
I see.
But they're in a tub in the tub.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, you are the bird's best friend, and we thank
you. You know, when they were tiny, tiny babies and it got real cold and the heat lamp went out, some people are probably disgusted by this, but I loved it. I put them down my shirt. But at the time, I only had 3. But I put them down my shirt between my T-shirt and my outer shirt to keep them warm. And that's how I went to sleep.
They must have imprinted on you. Do they follow you everywhere?
I don't know. They can't get out of the tub. It has a screen over it, so they can't get out.
I see.
But I had hoped that might be the case. I'm not sure they've maybe recovered from the emotional scars.
Let's hope it doesn't affect their egg production.
Right.
Charles, it is always so much fun talking to you, and it's just love what you're doing with the Kansas City Chorale. And by the way, I want to remind people, if you want a beautiful CD to listen to in the car, I highly recommend Into the Mirage, which is also available at the KC Chorale website. Check it out. And we look forward to the CD of The Lost Birds. But before the CD gets released, you get to hear it live, 7:30 p.m., May 16th, Village Presbyterian Church. For tickets, go to kcchorale.org. Charles, thanks a lot. I look forward to the next time we talk.
Always my pleasure. Thanks, friend. Goodbye, Beatniks.
Yes, goodbye. You've been listening to the KC Artsbeat Report. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, like this video, and follow us on Facebook. And until next time, I'm Patrick Neas.